Thank you to Nick Reed and the team at Resources Rising Stars for the opportunity to present DEVEX resources here today. So yes, I'm talking about 3 exploration projects that I'm presenting here today. They're 3 projects located in 3 different jurisdictions and 3 unique commodity types, and we're really excited about what we're doing and the momentum that we're bringing forward over the next 12 months with exploring these projects. So our usual disclaimer, which I urge you to read at your own leisure on our ASX platform where we've uploaded this presentation, or likewise on our company website. So our main business and our main business focus is to bring forward exploration discovery. We're in the business of delivering a discovery drill hole for our shareholders. That's the best way. That's the first step that we want to move towards. To achieve this, it's about bringing together a portfolio of really high quality projects, and that's the portfolio that I'm talking to you today about. They've all got their own unique merits, and they're located in very well sought after exploration jurisdictions, both in the Sovereign project, as Abby mentioned, in Western Australia, where we're exploring for nickel copper PG mineralisation directly north of the Chalice's Julimar project and the Gonaville intrusion. We're well located there. We've now, over the last 8 months, defined a very large mafic, ultramafic intrusion. They're the right rocks. They're what we're looking for. We're situated between Chalice and to the north, Caspian Resources, who are also intersecting interesting nickel copper PG mineralisation. So we're in a great location and we're just getting started out there. Meanwhile, in New South Wales, we're exploring within the Knoblach Fault belt. It's a big area, but principally what we're most interested in at the moment is where we're exploring at the Junee project, which is within the heart of Australia's heartland of porphyry copper gold deposits. Deposits such as Cadia Ridgeway, run by Newcrest. These are all these sort of deposits, and we've been building up the targets there, and especially the Nangus Road project, where we've got a drill rig, 2 drill rigs turning up later this month to start drilling there. And also in the north, in the Northern Territory, one of the projects has been with us for some time. We're waiting for that uranium price. We're waiting for it to really kick off. It's looking good. It's ticking up now, as Duncan mentioned. And you know, I think Duncan's summed it up already about what we believe about the uranium price. You either believe it or you don't, but it's got a road to go. And where we're located is in a really well-endowed uranium province. It's got over 500 million pounds of uranium already been defined through mining and existing resources, and we're situated around what was Australia's highest grade uranium mine at Knoblach, which produced 24 million pounds at 1.84% uranium. So talk to ppm, everyone's talking ppm these days, we talk in percent. So, you know, like 1.84%, that's like 18,000 ppm. So it's very high grade, very, very profitable if you find another Knoblach, and that's what we're hunting for. So a quick snapshot, we've got 308 million shares on issue. We're trading roughly about 28 to 30 cents right now. Importantly, what we have is we've got 16 thereabouts $million in the bank account ready for exploration. So that's there to drive this, keep our momentum going forward with exploration drilling on these projects. It gives us the ability to do well thought out programs and move ourselves forward towards the aim of discovery. We're naturally headed up by Tim Gorder, as Abby mentioned. Tim's had resounding success over the last 2 years. This is a long history that goes well beyond 2 years. Tim has been the founder of a number of very successful exploration, now moving towards mining companies, including Chalice and Liontown, and likewise with DEVEX Resources. Tim sits there as our chairman with 17% in the company, and he's an exploration enthusiast. He's out there, he's keen for seeing exploration drilling going, and he's there reminding me where we need to be, and we're pretty active. And you know, we've got a number of people, metallurgists and geophysicists, and I'm a geologist by trade. I've got over 25 years experience in early stage exploration, discovery, moving to resource development, and eventually to mining. But you know, what I really want to do is get that drill hole in the right spot. Within the board, we've got Bryn Jones, who is also the Managing Director of Foss Energy. You can go check out Foss Energy, which is one of our earlier spin-out companies, and check out the science that they're doing there. And likewise, Bryn's Non-Executive Director at companies like Boss Energy as well, and also a rare earth company, AR3, as well. Over in the east, I just flagged that Chris Tyree is our chief geologist. This gives us that ability to keep that momentum going. I'm in the west. It's kind of hard to get home if I go back over to the east right now. Chris has got a wealth of experience in exploration in New South Wales. And so Chris is over there running those projects, making sure that they move ahead. And that then gives us the ability to move across borders. It gives us the ability to work in the Territory, WA and New South Wales. And that's why we've got this drilling program happening. So just starting in the west, moving to the east, and then in the Territory with these three projects. So Julimar Complex, it's emerging. It's definitely like the hottest subject in Western Australia at the moment. There's been a pegging rush in the region. Where we're located is to the north of Alex's or Chalice Mining's Gonaville project, or the Julimar project. Alex presented earlier today talking about what they're doing, where they're going. Importantly, they're exploring north of Gonaville. They're working their way along. So the image you see there is a magnetic image. Red rocks are magnetic, blue rocks are not magnetic. Gonaville is that nice magnetic blob there, and they're moving their way along through to Hartock. They talked about Hartock, Bowden, Jance, and continuing to the north. So we abut their tenements to the north at the Sovereign project. We're in a joint venture on the western side with ASQ, or Australian Silica Quartz Group, where we're earning into 50% of that side, and then we've got 100% of our tenement on the eastern side. And the tenement split it down the middle, this big mafic, ultramafic intrusion. It started out 8 months ago as being this nice magnetic anomaly. We've been drilling it in 2 campaigns, and now we've defined a 12-kilometre long mafic, ultramafic intrusion with the air core drilling that we've done. Our next step now that we know the size, is to get on the ground, which we're doing at the moment. We've got geophysicists on the ground doing ground EM, looking for those conductors. And, we're better to be than sitting there with Yarrawinda Brook that Caspan's got to the north, Chalice to the south, and we've got the right rocks. So, looking into the detail, there it is, the greens, the mafic part, the ultramafic part sitting underneath there. We're seeing windows of that through there. That's 12 kilometres long. So we've got about 3 months of exploration with geophysics and ground EM working ahead over the next 3 months. And we've also got diamond drilling. There's a diamond rig out there at the moment. What we're doing right now that we understand this intrusion at the surface, we're trying to understand this intrusion depth. So we're drilling to understand the geometry and what makes this intrusion tick. As the EM progresses, we get at conductors, which could be indicative of massive sulfides. That's where we bring this rig and turn it around and start drilling for those conductors. So it's pretty dynamic out there at the moment. We're working pretty hard and getting ahead with this project. So as I mentioned, that's what we're up to. We're pretty active. We've got a team of geologists out there right now, and we look forward to seeing results over the next 3 months. In New South Wales, we're exploring in the Knoblach Fault belt. As I mentioned, it's a big area. Where we're focused right now is within the heartland of Australia's porphyry copper-gold terrain. Where this image, for those down the back that can't quite see, this is the Macquarie Arc. So down in the south, you've got Canberra, and right up in the north, you've got the big projects at Parkes, projects like Newcrest, Cadia Ridgeway, and likewise the North Parkes project being mined by China Moly. The important take-home message from this is that these are all intrusion-related. That is monzonite rocks that come up. They're all same age, whether you're at Parkes or whether you're at Cadia. The geological age is the same. Why that's important to us and why we've been focused down here for the last 2 years is that in 2017, the survey came down into the area where we're located. This area hadn't been previously identified as being part of the arc. They age dated a monzonite down there to be the same age as Cadia and the same age as North Parkes. And that started a pegging rush, which has seen the likes of both Newmont to the north of us and Freeport, who recently sold into Newmont, I believe, is that they've been down there exploring, and we've pegged 100% of our own tenements down in this region. And so just to sort of zoom in on what we're talking about, the image you see again is magnetic, it's nice and colourful. What we're most interested in is just north of our boundary, this Kubar monzonite, where Newmont are currently exploring. That's the monzonite they age dated to be the same age as Cadia and North Parkes. And so where we are at Nangus Road is we're seeing a very similar magnetic feature that we drilled earlier this year, and we confirmed there's a monzonite there. We then went in with some geochemistry and some broad-spaced air core drilling, and we're now seeing a broad copper-gold anomaly in bedrock. To explain in detail, just zooming right in on that, you're seeing the drilling. We did broad-spaced air core drilling, and so what I'm talking about broad-spaced, I'm talking about 400 by 200 metre spaced air core holes, so on 400 metre traverses. So those that had a big lunch and you want to go walk it off, when you go outside and you look at the results that I'm talking about for context and scale, you know, go outside and you sort of see what we did. We drilled a hole and we got a metre at 2 grams and copper associated, walk 400 metres and then drill another hole, and then we got another intercept of 3.5 grams from that air core hole, and then walk another 400 metres and then we get 1 at 2 grams a tonne. Turn right and go 200 metres and then you're getting more mineralisation from this air core drilling. That's the spacing we're talking about. So it's early stages, but the mineralisation is quite consistent there. And naturally, when you're looking for porphyry copper gold, the next thing you do is turn to geophysics. And so we did induced polarisation. That's designed around looking for disseminated sulfides associated with things like porphyry copper gold. So you're looking for those disseminated sulfides. Induced polarisations can find other things, but what we see where we are is we're seeing a nice IP anomaly or induced polarisation anomaly directly associated with this mineralisation. So just as a snapshot cross-section from one of those traverses, those air core holes, you can see they're pretty shallow reconnaissance in nature. They're 200 metres apart. We're getting over 1 gram per tonne gold. We're getting sort of over 1,000 copper, ppm copper. And then now we're seeing this nice red blob, which is the IP anomaly. And you know, whatever it is, it's pretty damn compelling for us. And so that's why we're bringing 2 rigs up on site at the end of this month, and we plan to be drilling this target, both with air core drilling, RC drilling, and diamond drilling. So we're really going at it. We've got the team on site. We've got a good team out there. They know what they're doing, and over the next few months, we're going to be exploring there. So in the Northern Territory, one of the projects has been with us for some time. We used to be called, before DEVEX, we were called Uranium Equities. It was great whenever there was a bit of a uranium boom because people typed in uranium equities and there we were. So we changed our name because to recognise that we're diversified, but we hold this project. We like this project. We have 100% of the Knoblach project. Those that are familiar with the region, it's very well endowed. Ranger is well known, 40 years of mining of uranium at Ranger. Over 500 million pounds of uranium has been defined. It's been mined or defined in current resources. So it is very well endowed. It's comparable to the Athabasca Basin in Canada, where Cameco are mining all their big uranium deposits, or currently on care and maintenance. So what we like about this area is we're outside of the national park. So we have granted tenements. We have over 4,500 square kilometres of tenements, including in that portfolio several granted exploration licenses and importantly 1 granted mining lease centred on the Knoblach uranium mine, which we purchased in 2008. So the Knoblach uranium mine, Australia's highest grade uranium mine. 1.84% uranium was mined for 24 million pounds of uranium in the very early 80s. And since that day, exploration has been stop, start. And for the last 6 months, we've been putting together a lot of that wealth of data for the last 50 years. Digital data, hard copy data, bringing it all together and with a focus of exploring really in the shadow of that pit that they mined there at Knoblach. And so what we're now sort of, after doing all this work, what we're seeing is we're seeing multiple uranium prospects, multiple uranium drill hole intercepts around the Knoblach pit itself. Most of them are located on these structures, so a little bit of geology for you. We've got the Gabo Fault, which is important to us, several uranium prospects along there. For those down the back, I apologise, but we've got high-grade uranium intercepts along this. We're getting really quite some significant plus 1% uranium intercepts that need to be followed up. And likewise, the other fault, which is the Knoblach Fault, which is northwest, that hosts the Knoblach uranium mine, we like the intersection where these 2 faults meet. And so we've got targets immediately at the edge of the pit where we need to get in and start drilling. And likewise, immediately south at prospects like Knoblach South, a kilometre to the south, where we've got a cluster of uranium intercepts that really need more drilling underneath. So just to give you the example is, you know, if you can contextualise this, this is a 3-dimensional image of the Knoblach South prospect. So, you know, for those of you are a bird, you're looking to the south, to the southwest. The Knoblach Fault's that olivey-looking fault that you see on the right, that's that plain. If you move to the right, you'll get into the Knoblach pit. If you look at the Gabo Fault, which I mentioned earlier, that's that bluey-looking colour. So what we like about this is that this intersection between these two faults and where they plunge is where you see a number of historical drill hole intercepts from this Knoblach South prospect. So grades of 25 metres at 0.3, including several intercepts over 1%. And what we need to do is go back in there and start drilling down and see if we can expand this zone of mineralisation. And it's high grade and it looks pretty good. Just to sort of emphasise, and I heard the bell, Abby, what it's all about at Knoblach with uranium, for us, it's all about the grade. Knoblach was high grade, and just to emphasise where they've mined that deposit, and for scale, 25 metres is the scale bar down there. It's not big. 24 million pounds has been mined out of Knoblach, the most of it from the north. Intercepts from inside of that pit that's now been mined out include 19 metres at 13% uranium. This is really high grade. What we're looking for is that offset, where it's gone, where it's been relocated because of some faults or because of targets. And exploring in the shadow of this pit is really exciting. And so I just leave that as a take-home message for those that want to think about uranium. Well, grade's always king in my world, whether you're in gold, copper, nickel or whatever, grade's king, and uranium's grade's pretty good too. So we're drilling in Junee in New South Wales. We've got a rig due to turn up there at the end of the month. We've currently got a diamond rig testing the intrusion at Sovereign in Western Australia. We've got an attractive bunch of drill targets in Knoblach in the Northern Territory, which we plan to hit in the dry season next year. And it's all about maintaining that momentum. So as I said, 3 projects, 3 commodities, 3 exciting jurisdictions, and it's about the discovery success, and that's what we're focused on.